Hi, welcome back to C Programming. I'm your Dr. Vasu. We are going to see the functions in this video now. If you want to learn more about C Programming and many other interesting topics, please do subscribe this channel. If you like this lecture, please hit the like button. That will keep me motivated to create many such videos in the future. Now let's see what the functions are and how they are used. So function means we are very much aware of the program. Say here, in the very beginning, we write a main. That itself is a function, and that is a mandatory function in any program, and we have to write it. A function is one which is used for repeated operations. When you are, suppose you have some number of numbers, and you have to calculate the addition of some numbers. So, suppose 10 times you will be calculating. Each time you need not write for a program or the steps for addition. We write a set of programs, a set of statements, and that will be repeatedly used for doing that addition. So here, for repeated operations, we use a function. So they perform, suppose if you have written a particular program, that a set of instructions, they will do a particular task. So maybe addition or maybe only subtraction, something like that. Finding a bigger value in a set of numbers. This is one example. Or calculating the average and percentage of marks in a set of numbers, right? Also, we may call it as a subroutine or even a procedure. Okay, sometimes we call it. So a function is one which has a name, right? We give some addition, some name, function name must be given. And here the return value data type. So here, suppose when you are doing an addition, by taking some numbers, to do, suppose minimum 2 numbers are required. How many numbers are given, and those parameters should be given here. Those 2 numbers, what type of numbers we are giving, these are the parameters. When you add, suppose you have x, y. So integer x and integer y should be mentioned. When you add these 2 numbers like x plus y, you get some value. Say sum, it may call it as a sum or some z. Suppose after finishing of this operation, that z is the value which is the addition of these 2 xy numbers. This z value will be returned to the program. That is the type of what type of data we are returning, that value z, whether it is an integer or a float or a character, what type of value this is returning should be mentioned. The type, it may be integer or float or character, like that. So here, this function has a set of statements written inside a set of brackets. What are the statements which are written here are executed. And so here, this is the main definition of a function. Okay, coming to this example, so you are taking an integer here, right? Suppose the a factorial you want to calculate. For this, we have given some name. And here the name is, the reserved words should not be used for this one. So the naming should be very careful. You should not use reserved words. And for this, we are using one variable, right? That is a. And the type of integer, it is a data type is an integer. After doing this particular task, after finding out the factorial of a, it returns an integer value, right? So this is the first statement of any function. Within this, you write some statements, and what that value finally you are returning should be mentioned here. Return x, that value, whatever you are returning should be that variable, maybe what sort of variable you are returning, that should be mentioned here. And this is the close. And we will clearly understand when we use it with a function, right, in a program. So write a function returning void, nothing. Just let us see a very basic, very simple function here. right? That is returning nothing, right? It just does the function, whatever it is. Let us see how it is. So here we are writing a function here. We are writing, this is the main program. Just mentioning that it testing a function. And this is the function. Print function is the function name, and it is not taking any value. We need not give any value here. So we are not mentioning any value, just given the name of the function and complete it. That's it. This is our main program. Now we have to define what this function is and what are the steps involved in it. So we write the function here. This is the function name void. This is the very first parameter of the function. That is void, in the sense it just returns nothing. Let us see why. Print function, this is the name of the function. That is just to print something. We have given that name here. Void inside also, here actually we are not mentioning any parameters here, and here also you just mention void or just to keep it empty. Here that meaning of it is we are not giving any value or any parameter, any variable here, not mentioning any variable. Now the main function of the this function is the statements in this, or this is my first function. Just a printf statement is given. It's not doing any calculations or nothing. Just it is displaying this statement, right? This sentence. This is my first function. This just represents, it displays. That's why it is not returning any value. So we just mentioned return 0. You can mention this return 0, or even this is not necessary. We need not even mention this return 0 also. But it is returning nothing. It is not returning nothing. That's why we call it as void. Okay. Now let's compile this entire statement and execute it. This is the first statement displayed by this function, by this main program. And it starts executing this function and it displays whatever is inside. So this is my first function. This statement has come from this function, right? And that's it. That's all. So this is the use of a function here. Suppose I have written this same statement twice or thrice. It displays a number of times. Suppose if I write print function, right? Print function 3 times. It displays this same statement 3 times. Like that. So here, write a function returning void, right? And using the function many a times, a number of times. We want to use that. Yes, here it is. So return is not mentioned here, right? And same print a function is the name of the function. It is returning void, nothing is returned. Just it is printing, that's all. It is not giving out any value to this main function. Main program. So it is not taking any parameter, and also return 0 is also not necessary, is also not there. But we are calling this function many a times, 2 times. Let us see what happens. So execute this function. This function is used twice. So this function is called twice. That's why we got the same statement twice. So like this function can be used any number of times. Now, write a function for addition, but returning void. You may ask how it is possible. We are using, when you are adding something and not returning any value, let us see how it happens. So by returning nothing, the addition can take place with the help of this addition function. So we write the main program here. We are taking 2 variables a, b, and we are calling that function, right? From here, we are calling a function, and this is the function addition. This function is taking 2 parameters, a and b, and these are declared here. We have declared a and b as integers. So in this addition function takes 2 integer variables, and does the operation. Let us see how it is. This is our main program. Now coming to the function, this is the void, right? It doesn't return any value. The function name is addition. Taking two parameters x, y, they are two are integers, right? That's why, because these two are integers, we have declared these two variables also as integers. Now x, y are integers. Now let us see what the function is. So we have taken another variable called sum. It is also an integer, right? Printf, enter the function, first number. So it is asking for the first number, and that is assigned to x. We are entering some value that is assigned to x, and second number that is assigned to y, and sum is equal to x plus y. So whatever the values we have entered here, these x and y values are added up and assigned to sum, is kept in sum. Now this last sentence is here, instruction is printf, the sum is equal to sum, this value. Whatever the value is assigned here to sum, it is displayed. Finish, return 0 and close. So in this function itself, we are doing this addition operation and also displaying the value. That's all. It is over and is not returning any value to this main program. That's why whenever you call this function, it asks for two numbers and it takes those two numbers, does the summing operation, addition operation, and it displays that number. That's all. So because it is not returning, we have declared this as a void. So this is the function here, and the first statement is executed from the main program calling function. Now this addition function, this is instruction is starts. So this instruction coming to the function here. Now this function has come into operation and it is asking for the enter the first number. We enter some value, asks for the second number, right? It has sent some value. This is x, this is y, and the sum is taken up and the sum is displayed. The sum is this much, 15. So doesn't return any value and does the operation here. This is the use of a function. Okay, now suppose use the function a number of times. I want to use the same function number of times. Here I have declared a, b as integers. Okay, and I have taken I want to use the function. The function is same. There is nothing change. Earlier we have seen the same function is used for addition of two numbers a, b. Okay, also I am using addition a, b. What does it mean? We are writing the same variables. We have declared a, b as variables. That means two variables. This addition function needs two variables. That's all. So this time I have given a, b. The parameters, what are the different parameters which are needed by this function should be mentioned. So we have mentioned as a, b here. So addition operation takes place. Next time when you call it a, b, the same parameters can be used. And it asks, because here depending on the program, it asks for those two values and does the operation. So here we have used only the same set of variables to call the function again and again. Now compile and execute, calling a function. Yes, first addition operation takes place. First the calling of this function addition ab. Enter the first number, we entered some value, second number added, the sum is this. This is over. Now coming to this one, addition again. Again this calls the function here and it is asking for the number, first number, some value, entered the second number, entered some value. The sum is this much. That means whenever you call the function here, whatever may be the number of times, the same function will be repeated here like this and it does the operation. Now use the function in number of times with the different set of variables. So here I have used earlier, I have taken only a, b as two variables, but suppose I have taken a, b, c, d, four variables I have taken. Now let us see what happens. I'm using these two variables a, b for the function addition. Now, I'm using the other two variables CD as integers, these two also integers for this addition function. Now, what happens? Whether you are using AB or CD, these are just variables, that's all. We have to provide two variables which are integer variables. That is the meaning of this function. Coming to this function, here when in the definition of a function, we have mentioned that integers here. So these integer values are taken, okay, and that's why we are providing integer values. That's all. Whether you are providing AB or AB also here or some set of different values, it doesn't mean same. It does the same task. Okay, it's not different. Okay. Now compile and execute. The function called once, second time. This is the sum. So like this, whenever you call the number of times, the same function will be executed and will does the operation like this. So this is the basic functioning of a function, right? Now, in continuation of these functions, we will see some more programs in the next videos. Hope you had understood this topic very well. If you have any queries or suggestions, please do comment. Thank you.